Hi friends, welcome back to our measuring length. We've been learning about how to use a unit, and our units, we can use pretty much anything as a unit to measure, but we just need to make sure we're using the same unit for the whole object. There's some other things we learned about too that are important to remember. So let's take a look here and see if you remember what those important things were. Which one shows the correct way to measure the string? I want you to think in your head. Let's take a look at A. So here's the string. Here's how they measured it with unit cubes. Here's B. Here's the string. Here's how they measured it with unit cubes. Or not unit cubes, squares. Here's C. Here's how they measured it with unit cubes. If you think A is the correct way to measure, I want you to clap. If you think B is the correct way to measure, I want you to snap. If you can't snap, just pretend to snap. Or practice your trying to snap. If you think C is the correct way to measure, I want you to punch. Keep going until I say stop. Stop. The correct way to measure, if you were punching, that was the correct way to measure. And here's why. This one, they left gaps between their units. Can't do that. That's wasted space. Same thing here. Well, they didn't leave gaps. They put them close together, but look at all of this extra space that they didn't measure. They could have fit another square there. These are lined up at the edge, same here, which is good. They made sure to line them up on the edge, but this one had gaps, and this one had way too much extra space on the end. This one is lined up on the starting line. It's also lined up on the ending line, and there's not spaces. They're all nicely put together. So C was the correct way to measure. Those were some of the other things that we learned about when we measure. We don't leave gaps and we don't overlap. We are on page 755 today, so go ahead and turn to that page if you are not there yet. Problem number 1, identify what is the length of the watch. And you're going to measure it using two different kinds of units. The first one is unit cubes. So go ahead and figure out how many unit cubes is this watch. Once you have that, write that down right here. How many unit cubes is it? Starts here. It ends about right there. Did you get 17? If you did, nice job. This one was an extra one. We actually didn't need it to measure that watch. It might have tricked you. I hope you didn't count all of them. Now I want you to measure how many paper clips. How many paper clips long is this watch? Paper clips. So I see it starts nicely on the starting line. It actually also ends nicely on that ending line. Paper clips might be a little longer, but that's okay, not too much. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 paper clips would fit across that watch. Now, why are the two lengths different for the same object? Why did we get 17 for the green cubes and only 7 for the paper clips. Why do you think that is? What's different about the paper clips and the green cubes? The green cubes are actually smaller, so it takes more of them to measure the length of the watch. The paper clips are a little longer, so you don't have to use as many of them to measure the watch. It's a tricky concept. Buzz says this string is about 6 paper clips long. Do you agree? Why or why not? I'm noticing something about the paper clips they're measuring with. Please make sure you press pause now if you'd like, or you can do it afterwards and explain if Buzz is correct. Why or why not? What do you notice? And the last problem wants you to use these squares to measure. Remember, you're going to want to look at where do those scissors end and only count the squares that, so I'll give you a clue. I see the end of the scissors. Only count the squares from the start line to the end line. Say how many squares it is and show how you measured. Then you can draw your own object that is about 1 square shorter. So you're going to want your own object to go to about there. 1 square shorter. And that is all you have for today. No exit tickets, so please just make sure you go through all those problems and finish them and show them to an adult if you can.